All right. Okay. I'll say it. I was potentially wrong about Dash. Actually, well, not that I was wrong. No, I made a prediction that I thought he could potentially struggle towards the later stages of the tournament, just with him not really having the experience. I think I said his best placement, as you guys were reminding, I said that his best placement was like a top 16. Until he got in this OpTic squad, of course, and then they go on to win the event. And I didn't really mean to just brush over it. I was tired and I just wasn't really paying attention to what I was doing in that video yesterday. It was very haphazard by me. I was just throwing stuff out there, and I should have really covered them towards the end. So just to appease you all, I will do a specific video on OpTic. But to be honest with you, the stats that I've been looking at just to try and brush up on, obviously, I personally didn't see all of their games this weekend, so it's hard for me to approach this completely accurately. But their stats are super impressive, especially from Dashy. So just want to cover it in a quick video to say what they got. Of course, you can look at all these stats as well. It is at, let's just find the link. It's at codstats.gg. Shout out to all those guys, JP, etc., for providing all that information for us. And that always does help in future tournaments as well. So let's dive straight into it. Dashy had a fantastic performance, obviously picking up the MVP trophy, proving myself wrong, proving a lot of people wrong. I think I don't think I was the only one with this opinion, and you know what? I'm going to back myself up. I'm going to back myself up to feel that it was a fair opinion to have. But he has proved everybody sort of wrong, proved that he is the absolute phenom that he is. A sensational performance. Let's just go through his stats. An overall respawn KD of 1.37. And actually, before I touch on the KDs and stuff, obviously some of them are a little bit more inflated to do with EKIA, etc. I'm not 100% sure how it works. I mean, I hope his S&D KD is inflated, or that's just insane. But at the same time, some of them are slightly more inflated. Obviously, with playing 5v5, it changes up the value, so to speak, of some of them as well. So take these stats compared to World War II stats with a pinch of salt, but they're still impressive either way. Anyway, let's go into it. As said, Dashy, who was obviously ARN for his team, an overall respawn KD of 1.37, which was second to Arcity's 1.45. Both insane stats from those two guys. Arcity's was phenomenal, but Dashy obviously coming in second with a 1.37 for his first win event, his first game, his first team. His first event with OpTic Gaming, I should say, first event on Black Ops 4, very impressive. Now, this is the one that takes the money. S&D at 2.17. It's ridiculous. I mean, their record in S&D, we'll talk on that later, was 7-2. So they actually lost over 9 maps. He goes 2.17 with 2 losses. I mean, that's impressive. And just to point out, second place, I think, was Havoc from Straight Ripping. So Dashy was 2.17. Havoc had a 1.76. That is a lot more. And I mean, that's above and beyond what everybody else had. And I mean, my next sort of criticism is, can he keep up with these numbers? Because that is seriously impressive. The respawn KD is mad anyway, but the fact that he puts up an S&D of 2.17, it's sensational. It really is. And I want to hold my hands up a little bit and say, right, okay, I may have potentially been wrong. Let's move into Scump, who was obviously SMGing for the team, an overall respawn of 1.21, which put him in 13th. And actually, something I want to point out, the rest of the guys in terms of respawn aren't really that high. So it's a real testament to what we're going to talk about in the maps section in a couple of minutes' time. So overall respawn of 1.21 for Seth in 13th, and S&D of 1.22 in 14th. Still, again, pretty impressive. Anything over a 1 is what you're looking for, and he did that. Specifically, the fact that he was running a SOG. There wasn't many other SOG players in and around that. I think Temp might have been slightly higher. Let's have a look. I think he was, Luca had a high KD. Alex did as well. I think Temp was slightly above, as was Krim, but we'll touch on them in a second, of course. Right, so Krim, a respawn. Hold on, that's where I looked at that a little differently before. Okay, so Krim's respawn. No, that's his S&D. So I'm just mixing up where I'm actually looking at here. I should really start the video again, but we're not going to, because I feel that I've done some good talking. Anyway, Crim's respawn was just a 1.0 at 47th. His S&D, however, was very impressive at a 1.28 in 12th. So good numbers from Crim. Karma also hitting a respawn KD of 1.0, just in 48th, one place behind Crim. His S&D in a 0.98 at 59th. Then TJ, good S&D at 1.29 in 11th, and that was in and around all the other OpTic boys who consistent on the S&D front, apart from Karma, and the respawn of 0.93 in 72nd. Now, I did say that I feel as if TJ didn't really light up the main stage himself, but did the job that he had to throughout the weekend from what I've seen. And the numbers only tell you so much, but I think the thing is that you see Dashy at the very, very top, in second in overall respawn, and obviously first by a long way in S&D. The rest of them, though, in and around 13, 14 for a few things, and then all the way up to 72nd for respawn KD from TJ. So I think that really does tell the story of how good they actually are. That typically in OpTic Gaming's sort of past, it's been a case of they rail teams for KD, and then they just cause so many problems on that front. But that isn't the case with this team. They just seem to work very well. Their maps, overall, they went 24-4, only dropping 4 maps. Now, I want to talk about the maps that they did drop. We're in series that got very, very close, of course, coming in with reverse sweeps all over the gaff. And to be honest, let's just read out the rest of their map stats. So they went 10-1 on hardpoint. They definitely should have lost a couple more hardpoints. S&D at 7-2 and Control at 7-1. Now, that's all very, very, very good. But it just shows how, I said, if you compare that stat, which, I mean, their hardpoint, S&D, and Control was the best records of everybody over the weekend. Obviously, they go on to win the event, so you'd expect that. When you look at that and compare it outside of Dashy's stats in terms of KD, because I said KD isn't everything, and that really does tell the story here. The fact that they're able to put up these sort of map numbers with KDs not being sensational across the board just shows how good of a team they actually are, and I do believe they're going to be difficult to beat. We did see Splice get pretty close, and I do believe Splice should have beat them, to be honest with you, and that might have mixed things up a little bit. Splice did very, very well stats-wise. Let's have a quick brush over on Respawn. Let's have a look. Temp at 7th with a 1.29. He had a phenomenal event. Actually, let's just read off the few that were at the top. Gunless was near the top, Lacefield near the top as well, but that's from a smaller sample size of maps, as is Parasites, only at 14. They were 4th and 6th respectively. Nolson coming in with a 1.29 with Team Sweden as well, so that's good from them. Let's have a look who else was on the S&D. So obviously we know Dashy was at a 2.17, and I'm sure you're seeing my face completely illuminated now. You probably can't see my eyes. Luca at a 1.65, but only played 5 S&D maps, so I'll not take that into consideration too much. Alex at a 1.56, playing 10 maps. That's a good record from him as well. But as I said, S&D KD is very much inflated, but Dashy's is like above and beyond everybody else's. So, I mean, that's just ridiculous from him. So, there you go. I've had to sort of take my cake and eat it here. I mean, I saying that I did actually predict, and I feel like I don't know why I have to defend myself, but at the same time, I did actually predict OpTic to go on to win this. I did actually say that OpTic won it in the video fairly convincingly, which they did, but I suppose you guys want some clarification on what I think of Dashy, and I think, to be honest with you, the whole thing with them only finished top 16 may have just been grasping at straws to see if there was a weakness in this OpTic Gaming squad, but clearly there isn't. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think of OpTic Gaming's performance. Is it going to stay consistent? I think the numbers themselves are decent in terms of stats. KD isn't everything, though. Their actual game looked very, very good on all levels. Their composure is fantastic. Their comeback factor is fantastic. I think everyone's probably just going to ban Seaside Hardpoint now, because realistically they just keep coming back and they just seem to be very hard to beat on that. But let me know what you guys thought of OpTic Gaming's event. Please leave the like on the video as well if you enjoyed my groveling apology. Anyway, guys, we're going to be well, you would have already seen Spitfire by now. If you haven't watched it, check it out on the side below. I can't link it because I'll be away. I'm actually away doing some FIFA stuff this weekend, so I'm really looking forward to that down in London for the FUT Champions Cup. It's actually a major. Somebody's employing me for something else that isn't COD. It's crazy. Either way, guys, we'll be back with some more videos throughout next week. We'll be analysing a few more things from CWL Vegas. We will catch you then.